Hi, this is Dr. Young, and I'm actually going to go over an example of K-means clustering and hierarchical clustering. Now, this is in your lecture this week. I know we're talking about market basket in the discussion, but since we're talking about all of these things in the discussion in the lecture this week, I think it would be very useful to actually go through and look at an example. You don't have to watch this video if you're interested in running these yourself. I will attach the code. If you have any trouble, let me know. It might be just you need a certain type of package, but I think the thing about it is that I got all the packages in here. Hold on a second. You might want to install these two packages, so I'm just going to bring them over here and install them. Put them in the, here we go. Okay. If you don't know about installing packages, you have to install the packages here. And basically, when you do that, just to install, look up the name in the parentheses, install those packages, then you initiate them by typing library and then the package in parentheses after that. So I'm just going to make sure these are initiated. Then you want to make sure that you have I'm going to attach this file. It's a dummy data. Put it in your download folder or wherever you want to put it in whatever folder. But when you start this, before you run this command, you want to make sure to go to files, find it in your, find the folder and set it to working directory. Mine is in the download folder, so that's why I've set it to that way. Okay. Now, after you do that, you can actually take the data and put it in a data frame, call it customers. And that's what we're going to do first. So it takes all the data in this file, this data file. It's a CSV file full of data. It's got customer ID, age, gender, annual income, and spending score. And it's going to read that data and it's going to name it customers. And that is in a data frame now. When we run it, we get summary statistics. These are the descriptive statistics, mean, median, quarter, max, minimum for that data that is in that file. Now, what this data is basically what we're going to try to do is segment the data. We're going to find the clusters in the data. That is called K-means clustering, and what we do is we find the most prominent clusters, and we assign characteristics to those clusters, and that's how we segment the market. That's why you can use this for market segmentation, and the way we do it is using an elbow graph. So it's basically so when you hear the word K means cluster, number of clusters. Okay. So what we're going to do is run some descriptive statistics first. Here we go. Here's an age of customers chart, frequency and age. Here's an annual income chart. Here's the basic annual income and the frequency of that. How many of the participants make a certain amount of income. Here's a spending score based on how many customers have that score. So basically all those are descriptive statistics. I'm sure you are familiar with that. You can run lots of different ones. But what we're going to do now is do scatter plots to find our distribution of age versus males and females and annual income. We have spending score, age, annual income. And we have female, male, annual income based, as opposed to spending score. So when we look at those pieces of information, what we find is that we can see the highest income. Hold on a second. Let me find it. Yeah, we can see how that breaks down in male and female. We can see who has the highest income based on age. We can see who has the highest spending score based on age, broken down by gender. So you can see all kinds of, make all kinds of inferences from that data. In the second plot, you can see that all the big spenders have are not more than 40. Let's go. Where was that second plot? Let me just run that again. Sorry. you know, you can see that. You can see that customers above that age tend to stop spending as much. So isn't that interesting? So anyway, you can see all kinds of things here. But in this case, what we're going to do is we want to start grouping participants into clusters. So you have to download cluster R in the packages, and then you need to run the library, or you need to run the, basically initiate it is what we're doing. And then we will try to come up with the next thing we do is come up with our elbow graph. And this is our elbow graph. Now, where's the bend in the elbow? I'd say it's about here at 5. So what does that mean? It means the number of optimal clusters will be 5. So let's run that next command. So the highest average. So what it means is if it's hard to clearly define where the elbow occurs, which it can happen because if you look at that elbow previous, let me just knock that out. It's kind of iffy. 5 or 6, between 5 and 6. So you could actually use the next method, the silhouette method, to kind of get a better idea of really where does that elbow occur. And it's at 5. The highest point is 5. So, I mean, if you have trouble determining where the elbow is, you can run the silhouette and then get that silhouette value. So, I mean, that's just kind of a, what do you call it, plan B or a backup for if you're not sure, well, where's that elbow at for the first graph? Because, that can happen, which it did here. So let's keep going. We're going to, so if we use 5, that means K is equals 5, and K equals 5 is the optimal number of clusters. That's what that means. So those clusters are our market segments. So let's run this and plot our clusters. That's what we're doing now. We're going to plot the clusters. There we are. So we've got clusters. What do we see here? What are we seeing here? Well, what we see is that we've got 5 groups. And we have a group here that has a low annual income and doesn't spend that much, or low spenders. We have a group that has a medium income that spend a medium amount of money. We have high earners that spend a lot of money. Let me scratch that. We have low income people that spend a lot of money. We have high earners that spend a lot of money. And we have high earners that don't spend a lot of money. So those are our clusters. Okay, so anyway, that is how you do K-means clustering. You can basically identify and call it customer groups, and you could actually make a data frame with all the customers and what cluster they're in. Anyway, so that's how you do K-means clustering. Now we're going to do hierarchical clustering. Sorry about that. Blech. That's the next one we're going to do. So you're going to need to install this library cluster and activate it. Now, this is called a hierarchical clustering, is also known as the bottom-up approach. and is basically used to group objects based on the similarity. Each observation starts in its own cluster, and step-by-step pairs of clusters are merged as we move up the hierarchy, so it kind of, forms that triangle shape. So we're going to do something called, we're going to do compare the distances between the data points using a function called HCLUST. Okay, hold on a second. Let's do that. Now watch these little plots come up. I'm gonna keep going, okay? That one and that one and that one. Now we're supposed to go up for 5. The average silhouette width is the biggest for K equals 5. So the reason why we would pick K equals 5 is we're looking at this called the silhouette width. That's what we're looking for, our number here. Because the highest one is the best one. And so this is 5 clusters, right? Now the next thing you need to do is download this package. I'm sorry, install this package. Don't download it. Just install it like I showed you. I don't know why I said download. And then activate it. And then what we're going to get here is the actual tree chart. And this is what you see a lot with this type of, like the visual. When I talked about triangle shape, see how it tapers. You basically got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clusters here. You have 5 clusters. Okay. And that is the chart. It shows that basically the hierarchy, right? That's why it's called that. All right, let's see what we get here. Now here's our clusters again from that. Do we have the same look in here? Oh yeah, but this is where, okay, so here's your clusters, but watch this. Okay, this here is the data from the, this is our data frame, but what we've done here, what this has done, has taken all of the customers that are on this point that are in the cluster within these data points, created a data frame and assigned them a cluster. So for each customer, you can say, oh, they're in cluster 1, they're in cluster 2, cluster 3, cluster 4. So that's kind of like the final result. You would see a data chart with that information. And let's say you had all kinds of customers on this chart and all their information, and you could see, okay, that customer is in that cluster, this customer is in that cluster, and that would make it so much easier for the market research person to understand and read where this customer fits in and how to target that customer. So that is the final result that you want as far as actionable data to use as a marketer, somebody marketing to a customer base. So I hope you found that useful. I hope you found that interesting. Let's see if there's a better way to. I want to see. I'm going to do that now because I don't want this video to go on me trying to figure that out, because I can do that. But when you review this video and if you're actually trying this, I'm probably going to have one more step where you get an actual printout, like a data frame. Like you could or you could see the whole data frame. Actually, that's probably what I would rather do. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions about this, and if you're having trouble, just let me know. I hope you found it an interesting exercise.